Hi guys, so I wanted to bring you something different, something interesting, and explore a little bit deeper into a reading, right? This reading, and we're going to be exploring energies when it comes to why you can't sleep. So, um, on a spiritual level, or through tarot, and maybe giving you some also remedies here to kind of help you and support you on your sleeping journey. So why I wanted to do this, because first of all, I just wanted to bring you guys something different than the regular everyday tarot readers with do the love and romance and stuff like that. And I want to bring a little bit more focus in this channel in regards to mental health, energy health, health as well. Um, just balancing the soul, mind, spirit, basically. Um, and also to help you and support you and your like everyday journey, because we have our ups and we have our downs, and sometimes when we get those downs, we feel like crap and we just don't know what to do. So, and like I've been saying in some of my videos, just simple remedies, sometimes it's probably the best way to do, to go. And sometimes it's just very simple as going for a walk, or enjoying a cup of tea, or doing something for yourself, things like that. Sometimes people just don't know, and they go and spend all this money and on medicines, on therapy and stuff like that. So, and sometimes we are the ones who are able to heal ourselves because we know ourselves more than other people do. So, but I'm just here to support that in some sort of way. Although I, depending on how my channel is evolving, I will be changing the readings or the videos. But I just wanted to let you know in some way, like, why is she doing a sleeping video? So um, I have a little bit of my notes here. So if this is the case for you, that you have not been being able to sleep, where you wake up in the middle of the night and cannot really go back to sleep, or you just can't sleep at all, and then end up watching TV or doing something in order for your brain to kind of like empty itself, so it can actually get tired, right? Anyway, so some of the reasons I have here, that obviously some of you know, right? It could be why you can't sleep. It's stress, right? You've probably been very stressed. It could also be related to trauma, where your nervous system is just disrupted, and now it's having a hard time getting where into that flow of peace and happiness, right? So it's been triggered, and there's been a very traumatic shocking to your system, obviously. Um, there could be, like I said, stress related to family, work, the everyday sometimes. Um, for some, it could also be in different areas of your life as well. For example, women, it could be related to hormonal changes as well. Um, if we go to also, there's the planetary changes, the transits, right? When Mercury also going through your sixth house, or Mars as well. If you have Mars in your sixth or in your 12th house, that could definitely disrupt your sleep. I know I have Mercury going through my sixth house. But there's also that spiritual part of it, right? The spiritual part of not being able to sleep, and like I said, going back also to that trauma and stress of the everyday, right? It's usually like a very traumatic something. And a spiritual level, since I already know a little bit more about this, it's, if you're not able to sleep, this is where also your soul as well is trying to kind of heal in some way, and If you experience some sort of trauma, it's like the soul wants to be able to come back to the body, but is not able because there's just so much shock in there, right? So now that's why you're not able to sleep, because the soul is trying to, it's like when you go through trauma, the soul gets pushed back, and now it's having a hard time coming back to the body, because the body is the vessel. So yeah, so it could be, those things too. Another reason, another option that I get is, and I've been feeling this for a little bit, is there could also be people as well who might be wanting to tap into your energy. Let's say maybe somebody who's been thinking a lot about you. I had occasions where I wake up in the middle of the night just having thoughts about this person or a certain person, and not being able to go back to sleep. And sometimes those people also kind of rob you from your energy. People who are able to very easily tap into your aura and your energetic field sometimes can take energy from you in some way through, especially if they have very strong, their mind is strong in some way, because they're able to kind of, with their imagination and their feelings, kind of attract you into their energy, and just by thinking about you. Or another option would be also the spiritual world also trying to tell you something, trying to communicate something to you, but they're unable to, so they kind of, I have had moments in the middle of the night where I had to kind of, I felt like pulling like tarot or cards as well, because I just felt like something that I needed to know, or they were warning me of something in some way. So those are kind of like the things. So it's quite a bit of a range of options there. But let's get into the tarot and let's see. Let's see what the tarot might tell you about why you can't sleep. It's just fascinating how we're able to tap into so many things. All right, let's see. Why you can't sleep. Why the viewer you can't sleep. And funny enough, the Four of Swords came through upright. For some of you, if you're not able to sleep, it's because you're also going through some sort of transition. Right now, we have the Six of Swords. So I feel like your soul, your spirit is also evolving. Sometimes we do that growth, the spiritual growth through our sleep, where I also see it like that's the time where the universe or your soul, or kind of reprograms itself. This is also where you get a lot of downloads, from the universe in some sort of way, and kind of reprogram you and help you understand things or situations, helping you evolve and become a different person, right? So some of you might not be able to sleep because you are definitely getting messages. You're not supposed to really understand those messages. This is something where your soul has some sort of communication with the ether, with something out there, but it's going to be helping you transition into something better, a newer space. It's also, I feel like, where you are also able to make those choices. I've been saying a lot in my channel, our life has already been written. There's not really much a choice that we have. We already make that choice. We already know what choice we're gonna make based on who we are at the moment and who we are becoming, right? So, but I do get that there's definitely a lot of things going on mentally, and it's being actually downloaded onto you. One of the things that I do get here for some of you are going to be asked if this reading interests you and resonates with you, right? Maybe do it like a little 5-minute meditation before you go to bed, so you're able to clear a lot of those energies. And just like imagination is a very big tool that we have as humans. So use your imagination to kind of clear your energy on a soul level, physical level. It doesn't have to be complicated. Usually it's just setting the intention. I'm clearing all my energy so I'm able to receive the downloads or the programming necessary for me to actually move in some sort of direction where the universe is taking me, whatever. This is very, very spiritual. We also have the strength in the reverse, which I feel like some of you definitely need to focus on having 8 to 9 hours. Hear me, 8, right? Number 8 in the reverse to 9 hours. Drinking a lot of water because, our body's made out of a lot of water. And the water, it's, kind of, when you sleep, it's the one that's helping all of these energies kind of flow. You know how kind of electricity flows to water? That's kind of how it is. The strength in the reverse is telling me that some of you are depleted energetically through the vessel, which is the body. So you guys need to really have enough sleep. So again, try to get your 8 to 9 hours of sleep if you're able to, right? For some of you, if you are cold, I'm not a doctor. Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. That if you need some sort of support to be able to get you to sleep, as the body, starts, kind of like getting used to, find yourself like, I don't know, there's gummies they sell at the pharmacy, or you can talk to your doctor as well. But definitely, I feel like some of you need to regain some sort of physical strength to sleep. And this is also like where the body also repairs itself. Your DNA through sleep is very, very powerful. So again, respect it and acknowledge that it does support you in your life. It does clear your mental health. Like for example, I don't know if some of you, but I've had like certain pains in my body where I go to sleep, the next day the pain is gone. Without why? Because sleep, helps repair that. Through sleep, your nervous system kind of like heals itself, right? It's like whatever other wound we may have in some way. Let's see. We have the Ace of Pentacles coming through here upright. One of the things that maybe some of you know or don't know about, through our nervous system, we're also able to attract things, right? If you're feeling in a space of safety or feeling grounded, we're also able to attract things towards you and opportunities. So I feel like for some of you, there is opportunities waiting for you to kind of be ready for this, because if you're not ready for these opportunities to come in energetically, physically, then they're not going to either bloom, manifest to its full potential, or you might not be able to hold it. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, for example, if let's say you win the lottery and like you win a couple of, I don't know, 100,000, but you just don't know what to do with it because we're not ready to receive, to kind of not receive but hold this. Then this is why maybe your money might be leaving very soon. But for some of you, there is like some sort of new opportunities for that it's awaiting you once you're able to feel safe in your body. And at the end of the day, you do attract who you are, in some way. We do have the star in the reverse, so definitely, there is messages, divine messages wanting to come through here for some of you. And also the star, it's kind of like that energy of healing, right? And for some of you, I feel like you have a very deep connection to maybe like star people or other galaxies as well. Definitely this reading applies to those signs, especially if you have a lot of air in your chart, or you feel like you are like some sort of star seed that has kind of reincarnated in this life or in this planet to have some sort of purpose. But I feel like definitely your chip is damaged. The star in the reverse. So I feel like that you kind of need to tap into your own healing abilities. Like I said in the beginning, we do have our own healing being. We have our own potential to heal ourselves in some way, but I do feel like also this talks about the chakras, right? The same energies that need to come into balance. It was in some sort of reverse in some way. I feel like also you need to kind of start shifting the way you think about life, being a little bit more hopeful and more positive in some sort of way. But I do sense like there's a lot of new beginnings happening for you once you step into this kind of like taking your power back through sleep, right? So make sure that you do get your sleep in some sort of way. And I do sense that some of you have been like there's energies out there. You can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it spirit. I sometimes call it sometimes divine energies, not like through like heaven or anything like that, but these are like maybe from out of space. I do believe in something like that, so I feel like they have been trying to kind of get in touch with you, trying to connect with you, right? But like I said, something's like been broken. So um, let me see, what would be the advice here for this sleep? Yeah, communication is coming through for you guys. I definitely sense, like I said, try to get your 8 to 9 hours to sleep. For some of you, I do sense that one message that is coming through is try to keep like a little note and pencil right to you. There could be like once you start healing, you're gonna start seeing dreams. For some of you, maybe your dreams might not be like understandable. You might be dreaming about dragons and cars at the same time. But whatever makes sense to you in the dream, there is like some sort of message for you, right? We do have the Hermit in the reverse. I don't know, but I do get some of you are very connected to energetic drinks that also could be affecting your sleep as well, or caffeinated drinks as well. So maybe you need to kind of take a break from those again if you're trying to heal your nervous system. Definitely it is kind of disrupted in some sort of way. Why is the star here? The world. For some of you, not being able to sleep is due because there's something, like I said, in your body. Even though we hit our full growth around 2021, especially for men, right? We are still like growing on a energetic level, like our soul is still growing in some way. And so the world in the reverse signifies that there is potentially some growth that's still happening within you through your nervous system, right? So where there's like a renewal of like many things in your body, including like your DNA, or like there's changes that it's happening within you. So I feel like this is always continuing, and you in some way you need to kind of help and support that growth as best as you can. For some of you, I do get an energy of trying to eat more healthier, like fruits, especially fruits that are colorful, and vegetables as well too. Have more of those in your diet. But here in the reverse, they're also asking you to stay away from caffeinated. I mean, that's what I get. Caffeinated, stuff. Oop. Okay. Okay, the Knight of Cups came through here, so I do feel like, if you look for some sort of support, you might be able to get that support that you need, or support may be coming, or there might be definitely changes coming to your sleep very soon. So that's kind of like a very positive. I feel like some of you, why you're not able to sleep as well, is because there is definitely messages that need to come through. If you are someone who channels messages and you're like, why I can't sleep, go channel some messages, because maybe that's why you're not able to sleep. And there's that time of the day, right, which is that night when everybody's sleeping and it feels so quiet and peaceful, where this messages have been able to come through, right? And they will be bringing you some sort of supportive message at the end of the day, something that is kind of like a missing piece of the puzzle, or support in some way. So just for some of you, there's something recommended to just, if you don't want to be writing stuff down, just like doodle. Is that how it's called? Like just write whatever, just doodle around, paint with just do whatever you need, and I feel like you're also going to be able to tap into something there, right? Um, but there is definitely something. Yeah, we have the Queen of Swords here. There's definitely some sort of message here. For some of you, this could be like a message of urgency in some way. So it doesn't have to be, but if you have not been able to sleep for a while and this is something that just started out of nowhere and you're like, all right, I'm healthy, I do sleep, I have been sleeping, I have been eating. So definitely there is some sort of divine connection that has been wanting to tap into to you, right? Like trying to support you or help you in some sort of way. Um, but like I said, on a spiritual level, or with the tarot, this is what I get for some of you, right? Why you have not been able to sleep. So I hope that this message kind of made sense to you and supported you in some way, with some tips here, or of what to do, or how to deal with these energies. For some of you, I feel like you are just overloaded with so much, so it needs to kind of be emptied. So in some way, and it cannot really be emptied through like exercising or things like that. It needs to be emptied either through something mercurial like writing, speaking, for some of you, singing, communication, right? This is the mind, this is the nervous system in some way, right? So meditation as well, right? Asking maybe the universe to kind of help you empty whatever um, has been stored in you and your body. So, all right, so let's get to some. I was told to get some answer simple messages for you. I really love this deck. I've had it for quite some time. It's most of my deck. This is a Sonia Choquette deck if you guys are interested. The answer is simple. Let's see. We have taken no offense. So, yeah, I feel like for some of you, maybe this sleep has been making you feel very defensive about other people, like stress, maybe where you're not also able to forgive or forget about things from the past. And I feel like for some of you, this is where, at night you need to kind of work on those things if you're not able to kind of deal with, you don't know how to, you haven't actually been doing the inner work or the work to be able to take no offense from other people's actions towards you. So yeah, let me get one more. Rise and shine. So as you can see, she's like waking up and just pulling her curtains like she's got a very good night of sleep. So again, try to do the work that you need to do at night. Like I said, for some of you, there's going to be a need to write down, your thoughts, communicate, do something creative as well, where you are able to kind of express all that energy or put that energy on paper. Nothing physical will actually heal it because it's definitely like your nervous system or in a mental way. But I do sense that some of you definitely need, to focus um, on really getting your rest at night, so you're able to kind of heal, rejuvenate. And some of you, even sleeping makes you look nice, right? Makes you look nice. Um, let me see what. Okay, I have the power of surrender. I'm gonna pull one message for you. Okay. For some of you, you have also been carrying a lot of very heavy and negative energy from people or situations from the past. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're someone that wakes up even in the morning, when you wake up and the first thoughts that you have is about people who kind of have done or have wronged you in the past, or done something, and that's something that you even if it's something that you done to other people as well, where you know you have that guilt and stuff like that. Like I said, doing this work of writing things down or speaking it out, you know, speaking it out loud. Sometimes, you know, what I do is I speak it into my phone and I record it, and once I feel like I empty all of that, I delete it again. This is simple remedies that they do actually work, but it's just sometimes people, it's not a pill that you take and it's going to make things better, but it does work. All right, so what do you need to surrender to? We have surrendered to receiving support. The Knight of Cups, you will be receiving that support. It might be something where someone is going to be able to communicate you know, some sort of a truth with honesty about your situation, or also being honest with yourself. But anyway, let's get to the message. It says, allow the love and support of others in rather than trying to handle everything yourself. This can take the pressure off and simultaneously nurture you. So there is maybe like things maybe for some of you that you're going through, and you're gonna have to allow people to support you. You know, we have the Queen of Swords coming through here for some of you, so I feel like there is definitely people who might be stepping in to kind of support you if you're going through some sort of stress, something stressful or difficult or traumatic, right? So again, surrender to receiving the support and love, because it is, you know, wanting to come through here. And sometimes allowing that support means that you believe in it as well, right? Because I do believe that there is divine energies out there, which is either, like I said, your spirit guides, your loved ones in heaven, or like I said, other energies that are definitely knowing that you need some help and support. Let me get you one message from, this is Trust Your Vibes, you know, from Sona Choquette as well. Yeah, we have make a note of it. Like I said, there is messages that are going to be coming through. So get pen and paper. And when you wake up, or whatever, you wake up in the middle of the night and you get like something that is going to be communicated to you. There's definitely messages. This is why some of you have been having some hard time sleeping, because there is messages that need to be downloaded or pass on to you, but you're not able to receive them during the day because you're either too busy, or you know, you are overthinking, and so at night that's when they're able to come through. Okay, so I have some also remedies. We have treat yourself today. So maybe focus on yourself, you know, get a day to just go out there and just have a, you know, a treat to yourself, buy something for you, or do something for you. You know, you can go do your nails, your hair, something that will, you know, kind of satisfy you. We have a massage. Massages are great, you know, because not only it clears a lot of things from your lymphatic system, but also it helps you kind of like unwind, relax, right? We also have movement, again, stretching, yoga, or walking are very good here. And there's also like a situation for some of you with this, take no offense, that sometimes this is what keeps keeping you up at night. One of the hardest things in life, until you're know and aware of how to, what you need to do, is accepting things as they are. Like, for example, oh, the boyfriend left me, okay, you know, why, you know, and we get stuck on like, why did he leave me, or you know, who is he with, or accepted that he left, and that's it, you know. Once you start accepting that, then like I said, your nervous system will start feeling safe and knowing that you are able to handle the situation or the job that you lost, and then you're wondering why, you know, things like that. Something, you know, stressful or traumatic that has you like dysregulated. But again, accept life as it is. Simple. Accept it, you know. Accept. And this is where sometimes the mind is, it's not easy, because you know it does take time, but the more you start accepting it and telling yourself, okay, this is the situation, this is what happened, and I don't have power to change it, power to change other people, but The only power you have is what you do for yourself. All right, guys, that's all I have. I hope this was kind of entertaining. It was actually interesting to kind of see the messages that came through here. I hope that um, I hope it helped you in some way. Let me know. If you like, the channel, support it. I'm just here to kind of have fun with you guys, to keep you guys company, and to see what other messages I'm having here for you. All right, guys, take care. Bye.